All right, we're almost there. Adrian and Nacole are so close to the finish line right now. It's within sight. The last time we met up with them, Bill reviewed their appraisal results with them. Today, we're headed back over to his office so that they can review their closing disclosure and gain clarity on the final numbers that will become their monthly mortgage. So it's important to keep in mind that when you get your closing disclosure, which is oftentimes referred to as simply CD, that you're approximately 3 to 4 days from being able to get the keys to your new home. With the finish line so close in sight, at this point it's really easy to get distracted. It's very, very important that we stay focused, we keep our cool, and make sure that you're asking any questions that you might have of your loan officer when reviewing your closing disclosure to make sure that we're able to get everything done on time for you and that you have perfect, crystal clear clarity every step of the way. With the finish line in sight, it's very easy to get distracted. So let's keep our cool, let's stay focused, and make sure that you're asking the questions of your loan officer that are most important to you to ensure that you understand your closing disclosure, because what's on your CD will become your new monthly mortgage. Doing so will transform your dreams of buying a home of your own into your new reality. Adrian and Nacole are doing great, and I'm super stoked that their appraised value for their house actually came in higher than the offer price. That doesn't happen often, and it's pretty cool when it does. At the end of the day, I truly believe that good people attract good people, and that God and the universe conspire to benefit good people if we will simply believe and have faith. Good people attract good people, and we're all stronger and better together than we are not. In fact, we're getting ready to go meet with some of those good people right now, named Adrian and Nacole. Buying your first home is a momentous occasion many of us have dreamed about for as long as we can remember. Meet first-time homebuyers Adrian, Nacole, and their family of 4 as they move forward buying their first family home.
We want to have space where we can run and stretch our feet and spread our wings and fly.
You'll be with them every step of the way from their home buying game plan meeting. What makes you happy and excited when you visualize your home all the way to their closing day?
He's somewhere up there, proud of me, proud of him.
Watch their story unfold on Real Estate, The Untold Stories.
Oh man.
Say hi. Uh-oh.
Hey.
Uh-oh.
Girl Scout
Adrian,
cookies.
come on, brother. What are we doing here?
Gosh.
Oh.
Hi, how are you?
Girl Scout cookies.
Mr. Andrew, come here.
We brought the
Girl
Girl Scout cookies. We know what time of year it
we
is.
brought the product. Bill, how you doing?
Great to see, because you
All
guys are
right.
always, we're doing Girl Scout stuff. Well, you brought it over here, so Bill, I hope you have a lot of hungry people.
Oh man, that's me. That's all me.
That's your order.
That's all me, man. That's all me.
What do you think? You guys got to hit him with the famous phrase, girls. Go ahead.
Uh-oh.
What do we got?
Would you like to buy some Girl Scout cookies?
Absolutely. All right.
All right. There it is.
Cool. So you guys got to be excited. You guys are coming up down to the wire finally, and
Yeah,
coming down
that's
maybe
right.
a week and a half away, I think, from close of escrow.
The conversation quickly turns to one of Adrian's favorites, pizza.
I'm always talking about food. Look at me. I got cookies. Oh, we got the pizza festival, all that. Man. Yeah, it was in November. The best pizza that you've had in Vegas, or that you even think, is there a place that's known that you've even thought of, or that you've heard of? Off the top of your head, what do you think is?
Verrazano's Pizza on Flamingo and Rainbow. I grew up walking there when I was a kid,
Oh,
like
okay.
their age. Yeah.
Very nice. So I really didn't know what was, so the pizza festival had what was supposed to be the best. So, and I tried them, and for sure now I have my two. So my favorite is Naked City Pizza. Have you heard of it?
Yeah.
Who is
It's
it?
Naked City Pizza.
Naked City?
Naked City. Yeah. He's trying to change it around. No, it's Naked City Pizza, the best.
It's on
No. It's all over. It's on Arville,
I
and
thought you said you wanted
there's
to
in
make a
Henderson.
family-friendly
It's really good. It's Naked City Pizza, amazing pizza from Buffalo.
All right, guys, now we're talking about your closing disclosure. So your closing disclosure is very important to understand exactly what is being broken down there and understand everything that you're reading on there, because that is the final document before your loan docs are sent. The loan documents is what the lender sends to escrow before you close on your home. So Guys, to break this down, the closing disclosure is going to go over on the first page. It's going to talk about some of the most important things with your loan. It's going to talk about obviously your personal information, your name. It's going to show your loan type. It's going to show your interest rate. Make sure your interest rate is correct and it's what you went over with your lender. The other thing it's going to break down is obviously your monthly payment. So it's going to show your principal and interest for your mortgage just by itself. And then it's also going to show your escrow account, which is typically paying for your property taxes and your homeowner's insurance. If you're doing a different type of loan, you might have PMI, which is private mortgage insurance. You might have other things in there as well. But the escrow payment will be broken down there as well. It'll show you that. And then on that page as well, at the very bottom, it's going to show you your total cash to close, which is going to be the money that you wire to close on your house. That's the first page. The second page breaks it all down. So it breaks everything out so you can understand what each thing is. Literally line by line is going to show you everything. So it's important to go through it line by line to make sure that you understand what everything is, because it should be something that your lenders went over with you a couple of times, and nothing really should have changed much. It always does change a little bit. Typically these fees on here should have went down a little bit from your loan estimates, which you should have got a couple days ago. Now again, it breaks down all the closing costs, the fees and charges, not only from your lender, but also from title and escrow, the things from your real estate agent and all that type of stuff will be broken out on this page. The third page is really important. This page is going to show you up there at the top portion, it's going to show you your loan estimate, which it's what it is. It's a loan estimate. It's an actual estimate of the closing disclosure. It's an estimate of fees. So that typically is a little bit higher in fees than your closing disclosure. So when you look at the top section of your closing disclosure, it's going to have the loan estimate and then the final numbers. You want to make sure that typically those final numbers are not drastically more than the loan estimate. Typically it's a little bit less, and you want to make sure that you're understanding what those amounts are that are on there. And then down there in the bottom, it just again summarizes all that information that was up there that was in the closing disclosure and the loan estimate. And at the very bottom, it's going to show you what your total cash to close is. Now that cash to close is money that you're going to wire to closing to close on your home. So again, guys, the closing disclosure, super important to understand it. If you don't understand what one of the line items are, if you're not really clear what it is, just pick up your phone and call your lender. They can probably explain it to you. And who knows, you might have caught a mistake that somebody did make. So again, super important to review that and call your realtor or your lender to just explain anything you don't know.
Wow, that's awesome. Bill is bringing the heat with that closing disclosure and hooking up the knowledge for the Hernandez family, going over every single section of the closing disclosure. Now that does bring up the question of the day. When it comes time to review your closing disclosure, how would you prefer to review everything? Would you prefer to review it in person, over the phone, or in a video meeting? Tell us in the comments below what your preferences are.
All right, cool. So guys, the whole point of coming in today was to go over that closing disclosure. I know yesterday we went over the loan estimate that was sent out to you guys, and you guys signed it electronically. We talked about it on the phone. This document's gonna be very similar to that, but this is gonna be the information that's a little bit more accurate and more dialed in, so you're gonna be able to see exactly what you got going on, okay?
All right.
So, closing disclosure. We grab a pen here so I can point. So the closing disclosure is, it's just that. It's going over all of your closing figures and numbers, so it's good to make sure that everything's correct. So we're doing, again, same type of loan, VA 30-year fixed, none of that's changed. Now, your interest rate was obviously locked in. I know we talked about that before. Interest rate's been locked. You got that smoking low rate, which is great. Your loan amount is right there. This is your monthly principal and interest, like we talked about on the loan estimate. That's just the principal and interest, right? That's not the entire payment. But that includes your mortgage only, okay? So down here, it breaks down what the actual escrow payment is. The escrow payment is going to cover the property taxes and the insurance. So your property taxes, they do change every once in a while. As your property goes up in value, your assessed value, the way that your property is actually taxed, your monthly tax payment can change a little bit. I mean, you're talking maybe $10 or $15 here or there. If your home goes from being worth $400 to being worth $600, that's a good thing, but you're going to pay a little bit more in taxes, okay? But you'll know about it well in advance. And then obviously your home hazard insurance, that's being paid in there as well. That's your total escrow payment, which includes, again, taxes and insurance. And the HOA is actually something like we talked about. We got to show it on the liabilities. We got to show it as part of your monthly expenses, but you pay that separate. So I know we show it here, but that's not going to be on your mortgage coupon book when you get it, or however you do it online or whatever. You'll actually go pay that separately to the HOA.
Got it.
Yeah, you want to make sure you pay that bad boy too. So don't just be like, oh, they haven't sent it to me. Let's not pay it.
I heard some pretty crazy stories of people that didn't think that it was something that they had to do.
Yeah, you know, kind of a bad story. When we just bought our house this last year, when we moved in, I forgot. We just had a new baby.
Yeah.
Literally, we had a baby and then we moved. Wife was very happy about that one. But I totally forgot about the HOA. And literally 2.5, 3 months in, I get a phone call. And I'm like, oh, okay, who is this? Blah, blah, blah. I'm thinking it's like some nice neighbor or something. No, it was the head of my HOA who was also happened to be my neighbor. So you want to make sure you pay it. Super important to do that. So, all right, so that's that. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so that's a total monthly payment right there with everything included, okay, including that HOA. All right, now down here, this shows your closing costs. Remember, that's a little bit less than it was on the loan estimate, okay? That's not your total actual closing cost. That's actually including your funding fee as well, okay? That's all the costs associated with doing the loan, including that funding fee, okay?
Because it's a VA loan.
Because of the VA loan, yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely, yep. And then down here is your total cash to close. And this beautiful little symbol right there, that means you're getting a little bit of money back.
I was saying negative. I'm like, that means they're paying me to buy the house.
Yeah. So
I like that one.
good.
That's even better right there.
So
I like where you're going with that.
yeah. So that it's actually some of your money, right? So that's your some of your earnest deposit.
Okay.
So the money you deposit with escrow because the seller's contributing towards closing costs because I was helping out the lender credit a little bit,
We appreciate. Thank you.
right? You're getting back that $242.
Nice.
So you don't have to come in to close with anything else.
Right.
And that amount right there is pretty dang accurate. That's not going to change much. If it does, it might be by $5 or $10, just more coming back to you. Okay.
Got it.
Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
All right, there is a lot of information being shared here. So I hope you're learning a lot from this series and in specific this video. If you'd be so kind, could you do me a big favor, please? Tell me what your key takeaways are in the comment section. All right, let's get back to it.
All right, guys, so obviously these numbers got to come from somewhere, right? And all these numbers over here are going to crunch together and go over to this page, but this just kind of breaks everything down and explains it. I know we went over this a bunch of times, but just to kind of show you guys again, these are the more accurate dialed-in figures. So this first part up here, this is actually your loan discount point that you guys had paid to get that lower interest rate. Cool thing about that being an actual loan discount point is it's tax deductible. So, you know, it should be tax deductible. When you go and file your tax returns, take your closing statement with you to your CPA or whoever does your taxes, and that should be tax deductible, at least a big portion of it, okay? Next thing down here is your origination charge. This is what we actually charge to do the loan. This is all our company actually charges, okay? Down here is your services for doing the loan. You got the appraisal reinspection fee, all those kinds of things. If you remember, the appraisal reinspection fee was on here before. Now it's gone because there was never a reinspection that had to be done. And the reason this guy moved over from this box to this side is because you guys already paid for it outside of closing. Because it's already taken care of.
Right.
Okay. And then down here you got your credit report, your flood cert, and other verification services. Down here at the bottom, you've got basically your title and escrow fees. So it just breaks everything down here, explains what all these things are. Okay. That all adds up and gives you that number right there. The bottom part down here, you've got your other costs associated with doing a loan. You've got your recording fee, your transfer tax, which is actually paid by the seller. Okay. You've got different fees associated down here. Most of that is actually paid by the seller as well. Then down at the bottom, you've got your homeowner's insurance. You've got your property taxes, and that all adds up down there. Down here, you've got your additional charges right here that kind of lump down into the bottom over here, and then your initial escrow and closing costs. So what this is for your impound account is those items are actually going into your escrow account to cover your property taxes when they're due and your insurance when it's due. So if you remember, we talked about it before, was your property taxes in Clark County are due every quarter, right? So when you pay that into that monthly, when those taxes become due, we pay for that out of your escrow account. So you guys don't have to worry about it. Okay, super cool. You don't have to worry about it at all. The insurance is paid on an annual basis. So every month you're paying into that. You're paying into the escrow account for your insurance. We pay that once a year when it becomes due. So again, don't have to worry about it at all. Okay. And then down here at the bottom, again, just kind of crunches all numbers, adds everything up, and then it shows you basically what your total cash to close is. And I know we talked about there before, you're actually getting a credit back. So down here, you're actually getting a credit back of $242.
Got it.
Yeah. So that is part of the money that you guys paid for your earnest deposit is actually coming back to you. So
Nice.
super cool. You're not having to come in with anything to close because it's a VA loan, because it was a seller credit, because I was helping out a little bit as well. Andrew do some things on his end, and we got you guys taken care of. So
And we're going to Naked City Pizza.
we're going to
on
Naked
you.
City Pizza. Right?
On you now, because you brought it up. You got the credit. We're going.
I did like how you said that, we pay into what is it, the property tax and the insurance, and that's something we don't have to worry about as long as the New American Funding is our mortgage company, right?
Correct. Yeah. So as long as anybody is your mortgage company and you have a VA loan, your taxes and your insurance are going to be paid through your payment.
Okay.
If you ever get a notice that your taxes are not being, like you're behind on your property tax, you're behind on your insurance, call your lender right away. Do not call the company that sent you the form, because they could be trying to get you to pay something kind of fraudulent, right? But call the company. It should always be covered. If you stop making your payment, it's not getting paid, right? But yeah, so that's pretty straightforward, pretty simple stuff.
Make the payment, we get to keep the house.
Make the payment, you keep the house, man.
Can you break that one in a dance? We know you like dancing, so make the payment, you can keep the house. I think we got a new video for you to make, right? He comes up with some crazy stuff, Nicole.
That's the title. What is it? The closing disclosure. Make the payment, keep the house.
It's the whole simplified version of all these papers, right? Just make the payment, you can keep the place, all right?
Oh man, it's good. And on this next page, it's actually going to show up here. It's actually going to compare your loan estimate to the actual closing disclosure. So it's going to show you what was actually on the estimate and then the actual final number. So the important thing is to see the differences between the two. And like I said, the loan estimate should have been higher than the actual final closing disclosure. So as you can see up here at the top, the actual total closing costs initially did go down, like we had discussed. So that's going to go down. This right here is actually you guys paying the outside of closing costs, which was the cost of the appraisal. And then your earnest deposit, obviously that did not change. And then there was a seller credit that was actually added, which is great. Andrew did a good job getting that negotiated for you. Got that seller credit on there. And then the next spot down is really cool. This is actually your adjustments and other credits. That's the lender credit that I was giving to you guys to help lower your total closing costs. So that right there brings us to that grand number of you guys getting back $242. So that all right there just combines to add up to everything else to help the rest of that make sense. But down here in the bottom, it just kind of breaks everything down and explains it. Up here at the top, again, it takes the closing costs, takes the sales price, lumps everything down, breaks it all down so you can understand what that is. Shows the deposit, shows the loan amount, shows all these other fees associated with the loan. Over here on this side, it talks about the additional taxes and insurance and whatnot that's actually included. Down here at the bottom, everything adds up and subtracts, and you get your $242 that's coming back to you after we close.
This is good stuff. There is so much information being shared throughout this series. I hope you're feeling much more confident about buying a house and what the closing process looks like. And if you're gaining value from this, could you do me a really big favor, please? Would you go ahead and subscribe to this channel now and smash that thumbs up? It'd really mean a lot to me, my friend. Thank you. Okay, so let's get back to it and see what else Bill Marin has to say.
All right.
So now that this is signed, because you guys signed this today, right? Did you guys electronically sign it?
Yeah, we all signed up.
So now that that's been done, now we got to wait 3 days before you can sign your closing papers. Once your closing disclosure is received in email, you want to make sure that you sign that electronically if that's the way that you're doing it. Once you sign that closing disclosure, the clock starts ticking. What that means is 3 days after you sign that closing disclosure, you can actually go down and sign your loan documents. And the reason they give you that window is to really truly review it and understand it, right? You want to make sure you understand what it is, but 3 days after that, you're going to go down and sign your loan documents at the closing table, which is typically the day of or the day before that you get keys in hand. So super important to understand that. So that's going to put us 3 days out. Once you guys sign your closing papers, we can possibly fund that same day or the next day. So we're literally...
Should we be closing on Friday, maybe?
Should be, man, Friday. We should be closing Friday.
We got a lot of things to get done between now and then. We got to go do your final walkthrough. We got to go to the title company and sign, and then we got to give you the keys.
Yeah.
So we got some
What are we
things.
doing still sitting here?
So
All right, let's do it, right? Let's do it.
seriously though, super important to
Let's
understand.
go do the final
that
walkthrough right now.
It ain't done yet, right? So
Right,
we're not complete yet. So the big thing to understand is you're not done until you literally have keys in hand.
Right.
Right? Andrew says, hey, the property is yours. It's recorded in your name. Don't use your credit for anything because more than likely, 99% of the time, we usually always check with a soft pull your credit right before we close to make sure you didn't go out and get like a new Harley or a new Corvette or something, not tell me.
But
right?
I won't. Trust me, right?
Yeah.
I'm not.
I saw a Rolls Royce downstairs.
I'm telling you, I'm not.
I saw a Rolls Royce, Adrian. Tell me it wasn't yours.
And the cool thing is too, because you're not going to have to wire any money in, so just don't do anything with your credit.
Yeah, no way.
And then we'll do the soft pull. Literally the day that we close with the soft pull, once you get keys, you can go get furniture. You can go.
Yeah.
You can get your Harley. You can do whatever you want.
Nice. Yeah, right. No way.
Right.
All right, sounds
Good?
Joe.
All right, guys.
Thank
Thank you very
you.
Good
much.
stuff.
Appreciate it.
Good to see you guys
Appreciate
again. Bye.
The
It's
Girl
good to
Scout
see you again.
cookie, buying too.
Bye, girls.
Right?
Thank you for my Girl Scout cookies.
Hi.
Thank you. You guys swing by more often. You guys, I probably buy them every week.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, there you go.
They're only here once a
Facebook
year.
is like,
You only got 4. I got
it's
25 of
cute.
those.
And then you see them in person, you're like, oh, I gotta buy them. All right, guys, so cash to close. What that means is that's actually the money that you're wiring to escrow to close on your house. Now, I personally been there. I understand. I totally get it. You're freaking pumped. You're excited. You want to get into that house. You just want to wire that money, be done with it, and then get your keys, right? It's a really exciting time. Definitely, we're excited for you. But the big thing to understand is you want to make sure that you're wiring your money to the correct place, right? You want to make sure that you're also not only watching that, but you want to make sure you're wiring that money from the account that you told your lender about, the money that they've actually validated. Don't wire it from a different account that your loan officer doesn't know anything about, but wire it from the correct account. But when you go to do your wire, before you actually send that wire, do a little extra legwork, guys. Pick up the phone, call your loan officer, better yet, call the title and escrow company and speak with them and confirm that the wire instructions that you got emailed to you, that it's the correct routing number, it's the correct account number. So that way your money that you're wiring is actually going to the correct account. You want to make sure you're not wiring to some scammer that you're wiring into their Bitcoin account and then your money is gone, because there's been several instances to where that has happened. So just, again, guys, just do the extra legwork. Make sure you're wiring your money from your account that your lender's validated, and make sure that you double check that account number and routing number before that money's wired.
It's always amazing to see wonderful things happen to amazing people. It's a core belief that I have that good people attract good people and that great things happen for great people. As you see with the Hernandez family, with their exuberance, with their excitement and their cheer and delight, truly wonderful things are happening, and the next time we catch up with them, we're going to be going through their home and finishing that final walkthrough, scheduling that title appointment, all the way up to the day I get to give them the keys to their new family home.
Coming up next time,
We're 2 days away from closing.
I'm feeling good about everything.
it's 2 days before closing day,
All this water is gonna be mine.
and the Hernandez family are here with Andrew to have a final walkthrough.
So the second floor we go.
It's a chance to make sure everything's looking good
You're a homeowner now, right?
before the closing day paperwork finalizes everything.
My first fork.
Your first fork in your new home.
It's also a good time to discuss what design choices they'll be making.
I wanted a glitter wall and he won't let me get
Are you
one.
serious?
Glitter wall.